Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Leading Research Areas and Success Strategies. My name is Leo, and I am the Marketing Manager for the Gruyter Brill in Beijing. It's my pleasure to have all of you with us today. Before we begin, just a few housekeeping notes. So your audio and your video will be turned off during the presentation. And if you want to ask a question, please type into the chat box, and the session will be recorded, and the video and the slides will be circulated to all registrants. And if you have questions which is not answered during the webinar, please email us with marketing@gruyterbrill.com. And if you have audio issues, please do check the following settings and re-end the session again. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our three speakers for today. So the first will be Karen. She's our Vice President for STM. And the second speaker is Helen, is our Acquisition Editor for Physics Science. And the third speaker is Damiano. He is Acquisition Editor for Technology. Thank you all again for joining us. And now I'd like to invite our first speaker, Karen, to start. So Karen, I will give you the presentation mode.
Thank you, Leo, for this introduction. I do hope you see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Hello from Berlin. I will talk about how to publish in STM, how to publish with the Gruyter Brill. Our success strategies and leading areas will be discussed by Damiano and by Ellen. By training, I am a chemical engineer, a programmer, and an organizer. But I've spent 35 years in publishing, with Wiley for 17 years, with Springer for 3 years, and now with the Gruyter for 15 years. I'm Vice President for Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics. And when I'm talking, I'm obviously talking from a STEM perspective. So Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics, abbreviated STEM. But the suggestions are so general that you can apply that also to other publications. So what is the most important about a published content? And now I leave you for 3 to 1 seconds just to think what comes to your mind. And the most important thing is that your content is found on the internet. So some known facts. People go searching via Google or Amazon or ChatGPT rather than on the individual publishing websites. So it would be very helpful if your content is not listed beyond page 2. So what can you do to improve the success of your content? First, you have to write for a clearly defined target group, because writing for everybody usually means nobody will find it particularly useful. We have that very often when authors say, oh, for practitioners and for laymen. This means it's not particularly interesting for anybody. You have to have a clear plan on the purpose of your publication. So are you writing for a teaching purpose, or are you just communicating science? And then we have to optimize the relevant metadata for the search engines. And not every content is appropriate in a book or in a journal. So what is? We have several available formats. If we have a look at topology, just as a topic, and what you can see here is that, for instance, here, the title becomes longer and longer. The longer a title of a published content is, the more restricted is the target group, the more specialized the content. And probably this title would be appropriate to be published in a journal. If the title sounds like self-rolled micro and nano architectures, topological effects and geometrical effects, it is probably that this belongs to a monograph. Whereas for a textbook, a title like algebraic topology would be appropriate. So you have to be clear when you want to communicate and you want to publish a content, what are you writing for? Are you writing for a journal? Are you writing for a monograph or a textbook? The content has to be different. And now the same, but not the same. Like for instance, we have a content, it's clear it's for books, but again, you can see the title growing from a textbook, which is called Rare Earth Elements, so general, an overview of the topic, to Handbook of Rare Elements, which is a bit longer, but it's clear it's meant to be published as a handbook. And then if the title gets even longer, like Spectrophotometric Determination of Nickel and Cobalt, this is a monograph. Monographs can be authored or edited, and preferably the handbooks and the textbooks should be authored, either by one author or a team of authors. But for consistency matters, they should be authored. So, at the Gruyter Brill, we have the following formats. We have textbooks. These are used for teaching. They are meant to give you an overview, and every sound lecturer should have one, instead of recommending several books which are not really targeted at his own lecture. They should be comprehensive but concise, with the right depiction of death, because students have to learn. The content structure should have didactic elements like exercises and questions. They should be consistent, and they should be written by an author or a team of authors. Also for individuals are the handbooks. And these are used to give you the complete overview of a mature topic. They should be comprehensive. They should have a structured table of contents, again, consistent, and ideally written by author or a team of authors. Then targeted at libraries would be, for instance, encyclopedias. They have an A to Z structure. They are used to give you a first information on a mature topic. They should be the entry point into a mature topic. They should be comprehensive but concise. They should have a repetitive structure so that you know what you expect if you're looking for something like Wikipedia. They should be consistent. And these ones are mainly edited or written by a team of editors. And then we have monographs. And monographs are the closest to a journal publication. They have a specialized content, usually at the forefront of science. They are highly topical. Very often it's cutting-edge science. Often it is the first book on the market. The table of contents can be a collection of articles. They can be authored or by a team of authors. They can be edited or by a team of editors. They're the closest to journals. But I have to also say that we don't have an influence whether the chapters are being picked up by abstracting services. So we are forwarding all our publications, but it's their decision whether they are going to pick it up for abstracting and indexing. So at the Gruyter Brill, our structure is like this. So the content becomes more specialized from left-hand side to right-hand side. We have a series of German language textbooks. Then at the graduate level, we have English language. Then we have an introduction for professionals, which is called a STEM series. And then we have monographs, reference works, encyclopedias, handbooks, which are targeted at the library market. Whereas these ones are targeted at individual customers, and this is also mirrored by the pricing. So the pricing of these books should be below 100 euros, whereas these ones are more expensive. So now I know my format. How can I improve the result? We give you some advice for your publications, and this applies not only to books, but also to journal articles. So take the time to discuss what needs to be negotiated best at contract stage. So everything should be clear before you start. Slow down if needed, so that once a signature is on the paper or once you've decided to publish, it's clear and the process can run smoothly. All matters should be clarified. Everything that is in connection with the project's framework should be discussed at this stage and not passed on to a later time. So the format, the look and feel, the title, the target group, and sometimes also the procedure should be clear before you start. And I'm going to talk about the title because this is one of the most important metadata. So there is a new approach on how a book is found. People search on the internet. They don't browse like it used to be in the past. So what do we need so that the book comes up in a search, preferably on the first page with search results? We should attach the content, the best labels, the best keywords before sending it out on the internet. The available labels, the space for these labels are the title, the subtitle, and the keywords. So these ones go to all library catalogs. So these ones need to be on the point. The search on the internet hardly infers from the context. So it's not guaranteed that if you call your book, for your content, for instance, reaction, this is connected to a chemical reaction. Or if you call it butterfly, this is connected to the butterfly effect. Or if you call it pigging, you should also add technology. So, as said, as precise as possible. The optimum is when the search term is identical to the term in your title and subtitle. This applies like as for passwords, as for a puzzle piece, or as a key in a lock. What becomes less important? The main title explains what is in the book. Like in the 80s, you would have very many titles like thermal separations and then fundamental and applications. This describes what is in the book, but it doesn't help you in the search for the search engine. And it is a wasted space because this is the information that goes out to the catalogs. But fundamentals and applications is not necessarily tied to thermal separations. So nowadays, the subtitle would sound thermal separations, subtitle, distillation, extraction, filtration. So give additional keywords. It's not important that it sounds poetic, like a random walk through nanodimensions. I do think that this title, if you find it in library catalogs, will probably not end up in nanotechnology. Adjectives like new, modern, and advanced in a title have an expiration date. Plus, it's a wasted space. So you have this word over there, but it doesn't really help your content. And in 3 years, it's probably no longer modern or advanced. So examples of don't. These are examples we've been offered, like thermochemical aspects of combustion in high energy materials. So the important words come at the end, which ideally would sound like high energy materials, main title, and then in the subtitle, thermochemical aspects of combustion. Or principles and applications of green chemistry. The important words are at the end, and then principles and applications just doesn't help a search engine. Or new concepts in material science. Again, we have an expiration date. So new is no longer new in 3 years. Or another suggestion of a very successful book of ours was 100 must-know mechanisms. Too unspecific. What mechanisms? Or another proposal was there is more than one way to skin a cat, whereas cat stands for catalyst. This is misleading. It probably ends up in zoology. So choose the title carefully for books and for journals. They will affect the success of your publication. So, for instance, what we've been offered, a title, Empirical Relationships for Approximation of Energetic Materials Across History, a brief collection and explanation of different empirical modeling approaches from all eras of energetic materials research. No kidding, this was really submitted for a book by an experienced author. What we made of it was energetic materials, 30 must-know empirical models. This would be the appropriate title no matter what was submitted. Or for instance, industrial separations, subtitle fundamentals. We transformed that one into industrial separation processes, thermal unit operations, and mechanical unit operations. So we tried to break down the main topic, which is in the main title, into subtopics, but which would also help search engines. Or we had Holzforschung, International Journal of Biology, Chemistry, Physics, and Technology of Wood. This is really very general. It describes what is published in the journal, but it doesn't help a search engine. So we transformed that one into wood research and technology, cellulose, hemicellulose, lignin, and wood extractive. So we attached another 4 keywords. So the longer the title meanders, the more specialized the content, and of course, the narrower the target group. So what I would recommend for a science book, 3 to 4 words maximum in the main title. I'm always saying, if the topic can't be summarized in 4 words, it's probably not optimal for a book. The important keywords for a Google search should come at the beginning, like the example I had with science and applications of. What comes at the end actually was the most important thing. So when choosing a title, put yourself in the shoes of somebody who compiles an index, for instance, like chemical processes simulation, and not simulation of chemical processes. So a book title shouldn't sound like this. It should be chemical processes simulation. So in the internet, we have ontologies, thesaurus, taxonomies, which connect the dots in the background. So ideally, you choose the keyword which is pointed like with the blue arrow here in a subtitle, so that in the background it is connected to your main title, main topic, and then your book is found even more if you have these additional keywords from here. So closing remarks on this topic. Using the potential of a title and subtitle multiplies the chances of finding your book or your publication on the internet by as many keywords are included. So think and conceptualize the important framework of your content at the contract stage, because it will affect the success of your publication. So publishing with the Gruyter Brill, what does it mean and how does it go? We publish in 29 subject areas. The ones I'm responsible for is science, technology, and medicine. We publish in chemistry, in industrial chemistry, in material science, in physics, in engineering, computer sciences, and in mathematics. What do we publish? We publish books in all formats, so printed and ebook. So every book is published at the same time in print and as an ebook. We publish journals, subscription, and open access. And we have databases and online resources. So we have everything for every type of content. The author distribution is also very international. So in 2024, this is our distribution. The blue area is the German-speaking area. The green one would be EMEA, so Europe, Middle East, Africa. The red one would be North America, and the yellow one would be APAC, so the area we are presenting. So what you can see from this pie chart is that we are truly international. Academic books, why write one? It gives your teaching material a permanent home. It puts your teaching ideas into something everybody can benefit from. Why not communicate your research to a non-expert audience? It raises your profile as a lecturer and researcher and leads to interactions with high-profile academics. And it makes you famous. So I had several authors saying to me, the books made me famous. Authors and editors have their names on the cover, whereas the chapter's authors are only found on the contributor list within the book and not on the book's cover. So if you spend the time and the energy to actually write, why not write your own book? Why would you choose the Gruyter? So this is the main house in Berlin, and this is how we are represented at a fair. So we give you individual and personal support by editors and then production during the writing and production process. All our acquisition editors have a science training. We offer competent copy editing. Our books have a really appealing look and feel. We have fast publication times, and this really differs us from all the other publishers out there. So if we have a complete manuscript, within 5 months, you have your published book on the table. We offer increased visibility. We have an international distribution. We are in close contact with libraries and institutions, and we are represented at relevant fairs or science conferences and congresses. From the very beginning, so from the idea till the published book, we are with you. The red bullets are the editorial office, so the editorial supports you from the first idea, then through the writing and the manuscript submission, then it goes over to production and to the publication process, and then marketing and sales picks up. So all the way, the Gruyter offers you support. And how does it work? So you discuss the book idea or the content with an acquisition editor. You submit a well-prepared proposal. We have templates. And then you just write 150 or 350 pages, and then you end up with beautiful books as an outcome. So wrapping up, one needs to think of an optimal formula and set up at proposal stage. So you need to be clear on what you are doing before you start. The author is the expert on the topic. The publisher is the expert on how to materialize the content. It should be clear whether it's edited or authored. And this sounds trivial, but we have so many projects where we start as authored and then we end up edited. And this is not optimal. The title and subtitle should be clear and well chosen. The content structure should also be clear, whether it's topical or alphabetical, or whether it's a collection of articles. We should choose the best format, whether it's a textbook, a handbook, an encyclopedia, or a monograph. So the content needs to be written different if you have a textbook and you want to teach somebody, rather than when you publish your science. It should be clear who will be the target group from a subject perspective, from a level perspective, and from a market perspective. And then in order to avoid disappointments, the workflow, the contact people in the process, and the publication schedule should also be discussed. So the basic requirements on both sides of the partnership should be clear, since we're having a baby. And the better prepared the proposal is, the more likely the successful outcome. And now I'm handing over to my colleagues who will talk about our focus areas and give you examples of success stories.
Okay, thank you very much to Karin, and I will take over. So Karin talked to us a bit about how to publish and what to keep in mind, and instead I will start discussing what our leading areas are at the Gruyter. So first we wanted to tell you a bit about study of the performance of the books in the APAC area that we carried out, and these were the results. This should not necessarily point you in any particular direction, but just so you know, on average, the books from the APAC area tend to perform better in computer science, in physics, in mathematics, and in chemistry. This does not mean at all that if you have a book in industrial chemistry or material science, you should not submit to us. Actually, all the contrary, we very much want to improve those. So this is just for you to keep in mind. But yeah, we thought we would share this with you since it's an analysis that we did across all our portfolio. So these are our main subject areas in which we publish. And then every year we determine 5 or 6 focus areas, which are groups of subject area topics in which our books can be placed and they receive particular attention. And in each focus area, they are supported by a strong program and they support each other. And in 2025, these were artificial intelligence and green and sustainable process engineering. And then we had energy, and we had pharmaceutical technology, we had nano, and we had polymers. So I will start talking about a few of these, and then my colleague Elaine will take over and talk to you about the rest. So most likely you will find that your research may fit in one of these focus areas, and so of course we would be very happy to receive your content and publish it. So the first one is then sustainable and green processing. Karin, from whom you've just heard, would be the responsible editor, at least for books in this focus area. And so green means every kind of procedure that makes industrial processes sustainable from both an environmental and a financial point of view. So this, of course, ranges from fields such as industrial chemistry, but all forms of science and production and engineering that can be made green. We have a very strong program. We have over 250 books in our portfolio, and every year we publish around 40 books. In 2025, we published 40 books. We also have some very good journals that I wanted to talk to you quickly about. We have Green Processing and Synthesis, and we're very happy to publish articles in any topics, including flow chemistry, microreaction technology, process intensification, green chemistry, and nanosciences for chemical engineering. And then we have Reviews in Chemical Engineering, which is one of our journals with the highest impact factor. And again, we are very happy to receive articles on chemical, photochemical, and biochemical reaction engineering, separation technologies, thermodynamics, transport phenomena, and process engineering. In addition to these two journals, which are two very well-established journals of ours, we have just launched as a company-wide effort 2 new journals in which we're putting a lot of efforts, which are transport phenomena and open transport. These are known as a teapot product because we take the TP and the OT and we make it into a teapot. And in particular, because the teapot, we take it also to stand as a process which includes the 3 main elements of transport phenomena, which are fluid dynamics, heat transfer, and mass transfer. And so this is a bit of a flagship product at the moment for us. And so we are welcoming articles from all fields, mathematics, engineering, and physical and biological sciences on anything connected to transport phenomena and fluid heat and mass transfer. So this is something I wanted to mention about the journals. Then, of course, we have a very, very strong book program that my colleague Karin founded from scratches, and we have a large list of textbooks really covering the whole spectrum of topics for students. So I'm sure that whatever you're looking for, you will find it in our program. So make sure to check our books from our website. And I also wanted to mention a couple of highlights in our book program. So we have here 2 books which were published in 2023 and 2024. They are both new editions, which means that if a book performs well over a certain threshold of performance, after 3 to 5 years, we decide to do a new edition, which means that the book is published again with an updated publication date. And so the book really kind of gets a whole new life cycle. It's like it's published again, the sales go back to the first year, and it gets a whole new life cycle. So this is always a great opportunity to keep the book up to date and also show the customers that it's not outdated. And it's also an opportunity for you to add any new developments, new contents, or correct any minor error that you might have found in the book. Here we have 2 of our strong textbooks, which we keep publishing in new editions. The first one is Process Engineering, which is really the bread and butter of industrial chemistry, and it's really essential for all students, and in particular for them to transition from university to actual the professional life in industry. And the second one, Sustainable Process Engineering, clearly focused, clearly key in our sustainable and green engineering focus area. It's a bit of a more advanced and more specific text on sustainable process engineering, and it takes over from the stage of the previous one and brings students to a higher level. So these are 2 of our highlights. I also wanted to quickly mention 2 more books which we have just published now in 2025, just in July and April. Again, 2 very strong books. Industrial separation processes. Again, industrial separation is one of the most essential and basic topics in industrial chemistry, so a must read for all students, and this is one of our strongest textbooks. Engineering risk management, also very nice topic and a very nice book. We have very cute story about this, that the author used to work in polymers, and then unfortunately there was an incident, there was a fire at his lab, and from then on he decided to go into risk management, and ever since he's been working there. And so he's been writing this book in his 4th edition already for now. And of course, risk management is something that cuts across all STEM areas, and something that must be taken into account by all scientists. So this is what I wanted to say about what our first focus area, which is green. The second one is artificial intelligence. So we're jumping to technology, and I am myself the editor responsible for this focus area. In the book department at the Gruyter, we have a very strong program covering all areas of technology, and in particular artificial intelligence, which, as you know, these days it informs virtually every topic in science. And of course, it includes anything from big data, the Internet of Things, intelligent systems, robotics, human-machine interaction, business informatics, and most recently, of course, generative AI and large language models and so on. We have a very strong program in the backlist, and we publish many books, many new books every year. You can publish your articles in one of our journals. If you want to find more information, make sure to check on our website in which journal your research would fit best, and then you can find there the instructions on how to submit your article. If you want to publish a book, we have several book series, and again, you should check whether your book might fit in one of these series. These are series for monographs, which, as you heard from Karin, this is the highest level of kind of books in terms of scientific specialization. If you have monographs, which really covers the most recent research and advancements in your area, you might want to publish in one of our book series. In this way, your book will be supported by a strong list of books in the same areas, and will receive particular kind of marketing efforts from our side. So make sure to check our book series. Aside from that, I also wanted to mention a couple of book highlights also in artificial intelligence. The first one is Demystifying Artificial Intelligence. It's a book that we published last year. It's open access, which means that the content can be accessed for free online on our website. And of course, you know that if this is a possibility for you, if you have institutional funding, there's nothing better that you can do for your research and your book to make it publicly available by an open access publication, because it's just scientifically proven that content gets cited and has a divulgation which is so much wider compared to non-open access. And Demystifying Artificial Intelligence, it's a very strong book written by, it's a collection of chapters edited by a scientist, Microsoft, who of course is extremely wide knowledge on artificial intelligence, and he has gathered a set of top scholars working with and on artificial intelligence in each of their fields, and so bringing back case studies and explaining all the basic concepts in artificial intelligence across the whole scientific spectrum. This is one of a very strong books. It's in our STEM series, which also Karin discussed about. This is somewhere in between a textbook and a monograph. It's something that can be of interest to quite advanced students, but also to professionals working in the area. And this differentiates itself a bit from instead of proper monographs such as this one, which instead it's for actual researchers, and it includes the most cutting edge and most recent research in the field. So this is also a book on artificial intelligence. Compared to the last one, however, it's a monograph. It is in a book series, which is Intelligent Computing, one of our best book series, edited by professors at the Georgia Institute of Technology in the US. It includes the most advanced research in this area, and I also wanted to mention it, because it's one of our stronger books in this focus area, artificial intelligence. And that said, these were the first two focus areas that we wanted to present to you, which were green and sustainable process engineering and artificial intelligence. And now my colleague Hélène will take over and talk to you a bit about our next focus areas.
Okay, so I will now introduce two key focus areas: tiny materials at the nanoscale and large material in the form of polymer. So what are nanomaterials? So nanomaterials are material with at least one dimension below 100 nanometers, and they have unique property. And so I will present which book we've published in this field. So over the past 10 years, we've published about 100 books in the field of nano and nanotechnology, nanomaterial. We publish books about applications such as functional nanomaterial with application in life science and medicine. It can be a bit more theoretical. Nanochemistry is more theoretical. We've published as well nanosafety, optical nanospectroscopy, micro and nano emission. So these are the highlight, the recent highlight of books in nano. So I will move from nano to polymers. So from tiny molecule with tiny dimension, we move to a large molecule. So polymers are used to make many products of everyday life. They are also used for advanced technologies such as electronics, and they are basically everywhere. But they do create some environmental issue. So we've published in the field of polymer, same as nano, about 100 books. We've published books on fundamental topics such as polymer characterization, sustainability, plastic sustainability, PMMA circularity. We've published many books on advanced polymer, imprinted polymer, self-healing polymers, polymer for coatings. And of course, as Damiano mentioned, artificial intelligence is a very
hot topic. So we've published a recent book on AI in polymer science and nanotechnology. If you want to publish in nano and polymer, we've got several journals. The nanotechnology reviews is a journal with very high impact factors. It's an open access journal. So if you've got if you are working in this field, this would be a very good choice. In the field of polymer, Polymer is a journal that has been founded by the European Polymer Federation. And International Polymer Processing is a journal of the Polymer Processing Society. So you've got several journals in which, and you can choose which is more appropriate. If you are working on biopolymer, wood research or Nordic pulp and paper might be a better choice for journal. So I will speak about two successful books. Why are these two textbooks successful? So for the first one, Physical Chemistry of Polymers, the author has a demonstrative innovation. He has developed a content that supports blended learning, meaning that a student can engage with part of the material online. For the second one, Plastic in the Circular Economy, they selected a very trending topic, and it's the beginning. People are starting to incorporate this topic in the classroom instruction. So professor, teacher are looking for this kind of book as it's a trending topic and quite new to be taught. So these two books are very successful. So the first example demonstrates success through innovation. And for the first book, the author has even won some prize. And for the second books, it achieved success by addressing a gap. So these are two very successful books, and I hope they can inspire your next upcoming book project. Okay, so if you have any question, I think Leo will take over.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so yeah, thank you so much for our speakers for the valuable insights, and yeah, thank you for everyone joining. Yeah, now is the Q&A session. Yeah, I know another we also broadcasting another platform called CoShare. On CoShare, we have more than 1,000 audience. If you have questions, yeah, please just let my colleague Cindy know. Yeah, here has one question said, I am a researcher from Tsinghua University in statistics area, and can you elaborate on the process of submitting to a specific series? Should I proactively contact the series editor to gauge interest before formally submitting to the press? And if so, what is the best way to approach them? So I will assign this question to Karen.
Thank you for the interest. We have a very good list in mathematics. So either way, you can contact the series editor, but you can also contact our publishing editor in the company, and she will make sure to forward your proposal for evaluation to the series editor, and she will give you the feedback, so whether the series editor wants to include it in the series. So either way, you can write to us. The contact would be Ute Skambrax, and she will make sure that the series editor is informed, or you can contact the series editor directly.
Great, thank you, Karen. Yeah, I'm checking another platform to see any questions. Yeah, so far we didn't receive any questions. So yeah, we will wait for a few seconds to see if any questions come in. Yeah.
In the meantime, I can explain a bit more about this proposal stage. So we have on our website, you can find our contacts, and normally you can submit a proposal from the website, but normally then one of our acquisition editors would get back to you and says, yes, we're interested, or no, we're not, and send you our real questionnaire. So this questionnaire is very ample, but it covers all the information we need to know for the project to have an optimal setup on the internet. And sometimes we refuse projects because they don't really fit the rest of our program. It is difficult if you have a topic which doesn't really fit in one of our clusters, because then also marketing and sales will not be accordingly. You have a standalone product, and in this case, the product just has to fly on its own, and probably the prospects aren't too good. So we prefer to have proposals accepted which already fit in parts of our program.
Great, thank you, Karen. Yeah, actually, I have a question. Yeah, so I know that Nano is now the top one leading research from China, and do you have any plans? You will visit some of the institutions like in China in the future?
So this might be something to think of. It wasn't like planned so far, but it's a good idea, and why not? We started the area, and I remember I had basically, when I was working for Wiley, I had my first book on nanotechnology on the market. So it was actually really the first book on nanotechnology, and it would sell, like everything which had nano in the title would sell immediately. And we are always open to have really good books which give an overview of the topic. So why not communicate that also to the office, to your institutions in China?
Great. Yeah. Thank you for considering that. Yeah, I didn't see any questions coming. Yeah, I think we will end here. Yeah. And yeah, we do hope this session has given you a clear understanding of how to publish with the Gruyter, the Gruyter Brill. Yeah, and thank you for all your time, and we do look forward to connecting you again in the future. Yeah, great, and we will circulate the video later on. Great, thank you so much.
Thank you for participating.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.